What does it mean to live life by design, not default? I talk about it a lot, and I have a video series on how to live life by design, not default, but what does that really mean? Let's talk about first what it means to be in default mode. This is our autopilot, our automatic settings that we have. And these are habits or thought processes or things that we do without even thinking about it. It's just part of our system, part of the way our brain works. It's like when you're driving down a dirt road and you're going the same route every single day in the same direction, and after a while, ruts start to develop in the road, and before you know it, the car will drive itself. You don't even have to steer because the ruts have been created by that process of driving, and the car becomes automatically moving, automatically going in that direction. And that's what happens when we have thoughts and beliefs and different things in our lives that are continuous for many, many years. And I work with a lot of people and they have a hard time identifying, how do I get out of this rut? How do I change my default thought patterns and my default situation? I want something different, but I don't know how to change it. And imagine yourself driving down a road with 1 foot deep ruts in the road, and you have to get out of the rut up into an open space on that dirt road so your car is not back in there. That takes a lot of effort and work, and that's kind of what it's like when you go from default to design in your thought processes and your beliefs and the way you live your life. You have to consciously put effort in and recognize when you're falling back into that pattern of the ruts. And it feels good. It's easy. You don't have to do any work. Your car drives itself. Your mind drives itself. When you are working your way out of those ruts and driving in a different area, you have to create new ruts and new patterns and new brain connections so that you are out of your default patterns. And it does take time. It takes conscious effort and definitely support. So if you do know that you have some default thoughts or default patterns in your life that you want to change, I would suggest writing down how you want to change. What are the things you want to experience differently in your life? And just make a list. You don't have to do anything different. Just identify what it is that you don't want, that rut, and then what do you want instead? You have to be able to replace it. Because if there's nothing to replace it, then you're going to go back. You're not going to a different direction or a different route. You're just in that one. So what's the opposite or the next thing that's different than what you're used to doing, different than your default, different than your autopilot? There has to be something different that you want to achieve in order to change the way that you've been doing things. And recognize that when you are in that pattern that you want to be in, it takes continuous driving to make those new ruts, and eventually it'll become your new autopilot. Thank you for listening. This is Carmen with Life by Design, and I hope that you take something away from here to live life by design, not